Story 1. My wife of 18 years had an affair that lasted for 2 years and 7 months. Her excuse was that she is going through a midlife crisis. As I had posted earlier on in the year, my wife of 18 years had an affair that lasted for 2 years 7 months. As I had stated earlier, I was devastated to say the least. I was one that treasured what I had in a partner, lover, always supportive, always attentive, always faithful, always having her back as one should who loves another. The wife broke down and told me on June 25, 2022. It has now been almost exactly 6 months since D-Day. So many thoughts about how to save my marriage flooded my brain. It was overwhelming at times. So many thoughts about how I failed as a husband, man, lover. After reading so many posts on this site and having so many of you giving me encouragement and advice, I concluded that I was not the problem. She was because of her selfish behavior. Shortly after finding out, I notified the AP's wife and told her everything about her sleazy husband, giving her complete detailed information about how, when and where my wife and her husband would hook up. My soon-to-be ex-wife as of this month has moved out into her own apartment. Merry Christmas to her LOL. We had no kids together. The only thing that we had keeping us together was love, respect, and honesty. She threw all those values out the window for almost 3 years while she was, as she called it, going through her midlife crisis. On that note, I called BS. I just wanted to thank everyone who gave me the encouragement and courage to do what needed to be done in order to save myself from someone who literally tore my soul apart. For those of you who are in the same boat, free yourself. Cut all ties with the cheater. They do not deserve a second chance at your soul just so they can repeat this crap again in a few months or years. We deserve better, and I have no doubt that we will find better in the future. If not, it really doesn't matter because for me, I will be leading a much happier life. Merry Christmas to everyone, and again thanks you all. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Now, let's get some reaction from the comment section. Reader comment. Good decision, congratulations. It is absurd to think that someone who cheated for 3 years is your wife. I think this is not a relationship, it's polygamy. Original poster. Looking back, my relationship was a sham, a lie, and a bad dream. I'm just glad I woke up. Reader comment. You are lucky. I think something went wrong in the relationship and your wife confessed. In a short time, someone new will come into your life and heal your wounds. Original poster. I don't know. Trusting someone again is really going to be a hard thing to do, especially at my age. I will just take life as it comes and be happy knowing I gave my all even though someone else couldn't. Reader comment. Opus, congratulations to you. It is amazing that the ones who give the most are the most crapped on. Midlife crisis is buying sports cars, changing hair, etc., not going out and having affairs. What most people think is that with 18 years of life together, that their partner will forgive them for their indiscretions and then not show any remorse that it happened. Sorry that you're going through this. Keep your head high. Do not speak to her. If anyone brings her up, shut that SHT down. If mutual friends say they don't want to get into the middle of it, then tell them they accept cheaters and then cut them out also. Original poster. All I can think about now is how I wasted a third of my life on someone who could not even keep a simple commitment. Being true to only one person is such an easy thing to do. It was never a burden on my part to stay faithful, strong, and supportive to someone you love. I guess that is what I get for living in a fairy tale world. Lol. Story 2. After 12 years of marriage, husband found out that she's still seeing her ex. I have been married for 12 years. I've actually known my spouse for about 25 years. Before marriage, she knew someone, and we actually used to date on and off. So eventually I had proposed, and we did end up getting engaged, but she was still talking to this other person. Eventually, she did decide that I was the better choice and married me, but to be honest, I was hurt at the time. But I guess because of my feelings, I was able to get past this. Though till this day she says it doesn't matter what happens before marriage, what actually counts is in marriage. So, we ended up getting married and it was fairly okay. I got married sort of young, had just finished university and was in the process of doing some exams and looking for a job, etc. But she ended up working first and was pushing the idea of starting a family, which I was okay with, but I was still thinking about the past and the engagement, and I thought that she somehow would make up for all that, rather than just keep moving forward as if nothing happened at all. The marital relations were pretty infrequent and rarely happened unless we were trying for a kid, and even during the early stages of our marriage it was like that as well. I really had to try to get her to be interested, and never once did she actually initiate anything, which made me feel unattractive to her and unwanted. About 3 years into the marriage, she apparently searched for that same guy online. I found out about that, but then she confessed to also writing him an email from a throwaway account that she never actually checked again or didn't get a response. I was of course upset. Fast forward a few years later, we did end up having an amazing kid. But around the same time, We did end up having a lot of problems from her side of the family and having to deal with my own parents getting chronic illness. During the pandemic, the guy actually contacts her after 10 years claiming he wants closure. Though that was the worst year of my life. The summer of 2019, she comes and asks me if there is a way to remove her number off the internet. I didn't think much of it. I then about 2 months later randomly go on my cell phone bill and see usage stats, and her text count was extraordinary, like 1K plus. I'm not one who snoops, but I don't know how I ended up seeing that. I see that the majority of these are from the same number sent, received. I confront her, she gets annoyed but says she will not do it again. And I threaten, saying if it happens again that I am done. So, it happens again like every 3 minutes 4 weeks it seemed. Eventually, this guy comes and flies over from another country to see her in March. I didn't know about this until the summer after, which literally after everything destroys me emotionally. Before the summer I had contacted him as I found his contact info and sent him some really nasty messages. I don't know if that had disrupted their relationship or he was afraid of his own wife finding out. A month after that, she comes and confessed everything to me and say she is extremely sorry and will never do it again. Throughout the year she cheated on me, I was lied to and purposefully put down and was made to feel worthless, and told she was gonna leave me at least 3 minutes 4 times, and that she doesn't want to stay married to me, etc. I don't know how, but I ended up staying the 2 years after that. I was expecting some kind of grand gesture or something, but all she kept saying is that she needed time to get over what she did and to get over this guy, and that it's not about me, and that she wasn't in the mindset of making things better with me or making me happy. But somehow, she needed to get better and needed to do something because she didn't want to continue living like this and cheating, etc. Anyways, fast forward this past summer, and of course he contacts her again in July. But she claims it's just a regular conversation to see if she is okay and how she is doing. And I get annoyed, and she asks why she can't just have a regular conversation with him from time to time. And I am like, yeah, I am not okay with that. Of course, then the fights intensify from there. Fights almost every day. She says stuff like she doesn't know what is wrong with her, but he is always on her mind, etc. And that she doesn't feel like we are husband and wife. And that she had a bunch of disappointments because I work from home and I get to see my kid more often than her while she works outside, and she expected stuff but never happened. I am a good dad, husband, never cheated on her or messed around. So, in November I tell her I am contemplating filing for divorce, and we sign forms, but I didn't file them. She said she prefers to live separately so she can go figure stuff out, and I'm like, does that mean to talk to this guy? She said it's part of it because she needs clarity, and to either be with him or not. So, I told her I can't sit around waiting for that, as I'm not gonna play the so-called pick-me game. So ironically, my kid was playing with her phone and there was like 5 messages on her phone. I tried not to snoop, but I was like, is it the guy? But then it turned out it was some guys from work, also married, who was saying stuff like you look amazing in regular street clothes, and then he sends her some pictures of him in a suit and she tells him he is handsome and has a nice smile. And I lose it. She says it means nothing as the guy is a flirt, etc. and admits she shouldn't have replied to him. But how is it her fault she says what he says? I said because you enabled it. And she says it's not a big deal and means nothing. This pushed me the next day to go file the forms. And even further, I waived the waiting period from 6 months down to 2 because we have a kid. Anyways, now, after I file, her tone shifts and speaks. She talked to him, and he doesn't seem to be the person she thought, as before they would just talk about feelings, etc. But now that she knows what is regularly like, she's not interested in him anymore. Now I think about my kid and everything, and I don't know why I have guilt in filing, and why I am even contemplating for a 1% chance that I may dismiss the case. For what? Seriously, after all this hell. Now she says, why don't we turn the page? And this is all ridiculous and wasn't worth any of this. My brain knows that this isn't good for me. But my feelings, man, this is difficult. My friends and family that I told, which are few, say stay strong and let the forms go through, as this seems manipulative. That once you dismiss the case, it'll go back to what it was again. We both work, etc., so it's not financial independence. She is stuck living with me for a few more weeks until her place is available. Then it's about another month or so before our hearing. I appreciate you reading my long post and your thoughts and support. This process is not easy. Reaction: you are clearly her plan B. She has been lying to you from the beginning of your relationship, when she was dating both of you at the same time, and then told you that you were the better option. That was a lie too. She decided to choose you because she was rejected by the affair partner because she wasn't good enough for him. He had options and he went for his wife and kept plowing your wife on the side. Your wife is his side chick. You so happen to be the fallback guy for her. Make sure you get a DNA test on your child. She wanted closure after 12 years. Common, my guy. You must be the weakest simp to believe her. Make sure you follow through with the divorce or else face the emotional torture of watch another man use your wife as a drive-through. I guarantee you that she is the one that was reaching out to her affair partner. Not only her affair partner, but the guy at her job, and that just the ones you know about. The truth is that she doesn't love you. You are just the guy she settled for. And don't forget to tell the affair partner's wife. He thinks he can take a dump on your lawn and have you pick it up. Story 3. I discovered she had been texting with an AP for a month, sending pictures in underwear and receiving D-pics. Hello all, have been here for about a month. D-Day was October 25th, my 19th wedding anniversary. I was installing some charging docks for phones etc. in our kitchen when my WW of 19 years iWatch dinged and a message popped up from Vanilla. After reading the message, I discovered she had been texting with an AP for a month, sending pictures in underwear and receiving D-pics, sexting and flirting back and forth. They had a one-night stand at her college reunion in September, and she told me 5 days after returning from it that she was considering separating and was unhappy in our marriage. For a month I threw myself into self-work, saw doctors to deal with depression, started counseling and trying to repair what I thought was my soul damage to our relationship. All the while she was going back and forth with this guy. On D-Day, she was at a professional work function in the evening, and I sent her screenshots of everything with the message, "You've made me feel crazy for the last month and now I know the truth. Come home and explain this now, or we are done forever." She came home, we put our kids to bed, and we went to our car to keep the kids from hearing. She initially denied anything, then admitted to everything. At her reunion she had met him. They had flirted. At the end of the night he asked for her room number and showed up knocking on the door to let him in. She did. Foolishly I asked for details and exact facts, which she shared. He was amazing in bed, had a massive D, and knew how to use it. She said she was unhappy and broken from her mother's passing unexpectedly in March and held a huge amount of resentment towards me for not helping her through it more. I had been there for her all summer, but I will admit I struggled with depression from trying to help our 4 children navigate the loss of their grandmother, who was also their babysitter from birth. They are between 10 and 12 now. I was devastated. This was the one thing in my life that I thought was irrefutable. We were married and committed to each other. Now I have seen that I was, and she had checked out with only passing comments of these types of things will be the reason we split up, which I took as blowing off steam, not actually where she was at. She admitted it would have continued had I not caught her, for probably one more time, which I don't believe. We had a month of whirlwind fights, attempts to reconcile, more arguing and finally moving towards a path to work it out. I was excited at the new aspects of intimacy this revealed, but I think it was very one-sided for me. Early in December, we attended my work's annual Xmas party. Had a great time, but I was drinking and blacked out after leaving. From what she has told me, I became angry and extremely hostile when we got home, in response to her wanting to just go to bed. I do not recall any of it still. I called her a WHORE, told her she would be a WHORE for him but wouldn't do anything like that for me. She said I was enraged and wouldn't calm down. She almost called the police. The next morning, I had no clue what had happened, but woke up on the couch and assumed we had a fight, and I went to bed. I took one of our kids to their game and called WW on the way home, and she told me what happened. So now we are 3 weeks after that, and neither of us have the bandwidth to work with each other. We are living like platonic buddies who hug and maybe kiss once a day, and that's it. She is trying to get through the first holiday without her mom, and I feel like I've given her the leverage to leave. She no longer is the sole bad guy. In speaking with my counselor and doctor, I may have had an interaction between an anti-depression med and the alcohol, but it doesn't excuse or negate what I did. Even further, I don't remember it and I'm extremely upset about what she says I did. I feel like I am at the end of us, and we are just going through the motions, and the other shoe is going to drop after the holidays. She is very sad and upset about her mom, and this time of year is weighing heavily on her. Yes, I know it's almost textbook, loss of a parent. She felt empty inside, found common ground with this guy, had the affair, and is not completely regretful. She has said to someone else in a message that it was dumb and her fault, but he was probably one of the best Fs in history, and I'm struggling with how to move forward and not trust her in the future. I am trying to save my family. My kids were devastated by the loss of their grandmother. I do not want to add yet another massive trauma to their life. I know there are the "you should have left her that day" folks out there, but 22 years together, 19 married, and 4 kids doesn't make that so crystal clear of a decision. Not sure how to go forward. I just feel like I'm on a hamster wheel of waiting and postponing the inevitable. Looking to hear perspectives from those who have made it possibly. Thanks in advance. Reaction. She took a dive on another man's D, out of resentment because you didn't help her through her mother's passing. Can't make this SHT up. Surely there are other ways to show resentment without jumping on some other guy. She is just blame shifting and gaslighting you. People may disagree, but never take back your cheating wife or reconcile with her. You will never get past that unless you are a cuck. You will always remember that she said that the other man was better in bed. It's not your fault that she cheated. Never let her manipulate you. She made you believe that you called her a WHORE, and she almost called the cops on you. Well, you were right by calling her that. You expressed your true feelings, and she is a WHORE, and trying to make you out like you were the bad guy, like that negates the fact that she cheated. She has successfully made you feel guilty, thereby forgetting that she and she alone broke the marriage vow. Your only hope now is to divorce her. Stop trauma bonding. She is not reliable, and she will go out and EFF someone else anytime you make her feel bad. That my simp friend is not a wife material. Now, let's get some reaction from the comment section. Reader comment: listen to me very carefully. He was everything your wife says he was, but not for the reasons you think. Your wife was chasing a fantasy, which most likely started back when she was in high school. What she did was escape from her reality. While she was with this guy, she went back in time. She was in high school again. Neither you nor your children were in her horizon. Her mother was still alive. She continued this fantasy by continuing contact with AP. He might have been more endowed, but this is not the reason why she felt the way she felt. It could have been anyone she had a crush on back then. This was not about you. Sadly, you and your children are the casualties of your wife's immature behavior. What can you do? You need to prepare yourself and protect your children, because when this fantasy ends, when the bubble pops, she will come to you crying, "What have I done?" You need to be ready for this. I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is a decision you need to consider very carefully. However, you need to keep in mind this. You will never have what you had before. That marriage is dead. And you might never be able to get over what she said about her AP. Do you think you are capable of living with this blight of disrespect in the history of your marriage? For the good of your children. Some couples do, although their intimacy is seriously damaged, even non-existent in most cases. This is what you need to consider and balance for the well-being of your children. When the fog dissipates, you are going to be placed in the very uncomfortable position of deciding what to do with the marriage. You need to do this thinking about building something new in the future, and not resurrecting what you had before. Lastly, she is going to require lots of therapy. Do not let her drag you into MC. She needs to fix herself before MC can have any chance to work. Good luck. Original poster, small detail, but it still holds your theory true. It was college, not high school, but what you're saying makes so much sense. I should have added in my post that it ended on D-Day, as I contacted AP, who didn't have the balls to pick up or call me back, and let his betrayed wife know what happened with pictures and text messages. I don't want what we had, and I'm aware that even if I did, it wasn't worth anything when this happened. It's a petty guy thing being hung up on the sordid details, but it's a BS I need to work through and move on from. I have informed her that there is an ocean of work on her end to convince me that she is truly in it to build something new. But I am also not really positive it will head toward our. Thank you for this insight and your support, advice. It has been very helpful. Reader comment: hello Opus. Many people think that surviving infidelity sub is for pro-divorce or bashing the Opus. The sub is for the betrayed spouse to help survive the infidelity and not be an accessory to anyone. Therefore, they jump to R sub. But R is not about returning to the past. R is not about satisfying a codependency. R is not about the shielding the children. R is about reforging a new relationship from a shattered one. It has prerequisites too. 1. The BP is able to risk it all to have it all. You should be ready and accepting to leave. R is not the pick-me dance man dancing. 2. A remorseful WP. 3. A willing WP. The above conditions are not exhaustive but are core to any successful R. Good luck Opus. Original poster. Thank you. This is the type of information I am seeking, and will use it to help me move forward. Reader comment: Opus, I usually do not double post, but I was in a rush when I entered my previous post. There was something bothering, and I figured it out while driving home. I'm talking about the blacking out incident. I got the impression that there has been a fair amount of rug sweeping since you discovered the affair. Your expectation that now your SX life will be overcharged speaks volumes about your mental attitude about the whole affair. The day you got drunk and said those things to your wife was the first time you told her what you thought of her. I'm willing to bet that her coldness toward you is her reaction to realizing that this is how you feel about her. Either way, it seems to me your marriage suffers from an abysmal lack of communication between you two. I retract my statement about MC. Perhaps you two need a few sessions to begin to communicate effectively. Without this skill, it is impossible to reconcile or co-parent effectively. Original poster. We do have a communication deficit that has been exposed by this situation. I now understand both the gray rock and 180 positions and wish I had that knowledge sooner. I will be utilizing them going forward and choose a path. Thank you for your insight and information.